This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday. I'm Scott Seidenberg with you here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we are tracking all the action across Sunday Night Baseball, the Yankees and Mets, and Game 7 on the ice. We are sweating out our first period under 1.5. We got 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go in a scoreless first period in Toronto between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. So we'll keep you updated on what's going on there, and then once that period comes to a close, we will assess any second period or full game live bets that we want to place on that game number 7. But let's turn our attention back to Major League Baseball. Joining us on the Progressive Guest Line, you see him and hear him on a variety of shows here on VSiN, and you listen to the Baseball Betting Podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Greg handicaps every single game on the slate, every single day. He's Greg Peterson. Greg, let's talk Sunday Night Baseball, brother. As we talked during the break, and I told you I was on the over 9 in this game. It's 2-1 Yankees going to the bottom of the third. Your live total is 9.5 minus 120. Are you intrigued by this total right now?
It is very intriguing because for me, the biggest reason why I had a little bit of trepidation with the over is because of Max Fried. And he has been so good and got a little bit of help from Aaron Judge there in the third inning as well. Very nice catch by him. But when it comes down to it, I did side a little bit more with the under, getting a 9.5 right now. Even though the wind is blowing out, I do like the under a little bit more because if Max Fried can fill 7 good innings for the Yankees, and I believe that he's able to do so, then you can get into Luke Weaver, then you can get into more of those trustworthy bullpen arms for them, and that's a big thing because when you get into the middle relief of the New York Yankees, that's when things can get a little bit more suspect. That's why when you see the starters only go 5 to 6 innings, you get a bunch of overs for the New York Yankees. So I think that the big key here is how far can Max Fried go? If he gets that 7th inning, then I feel good about the under. If he doesn't, the over looks very good.
I'll tell you what, maybe take a flyer on the Yankees team total over 5.5 right now. Live number 5.5 minus 115. They already have 2 runs here. David Peterson through 2 innings has thrown 37 pitches, so I can't imagine that he's going more than 5 in this game. Fried is at 57 pitches through 3 innings. Maybe Fried can get to 6. I don't know if he gets to 7, but maybe if we think that Fried's going to lock it down after allowing that 1 run in the second inning, that maybe we just back the Yankees to score some runs, if not off David Peterson, maybe off of whoever comes in the 5th inning or so.
Now, the one trepidation I do have with that is that the Mets bullpen has actually been really good. Their long guys like Jose Buto, I actually really like. Oscar Brisbane, he's been giving you like a 1 ERA thus far this season. So I've actually really liked what I've seen out of this Mets bullpen. And surprisingly, coming into the day here today, top 5 team in terms of bullpen ERA. So I've been looking at the Mets sort of in terms of a few more unders, especially when they were having those very cold temperatures towards the beginning part of the season, first few weeks of the season. Offense has been able to heat up a little bit more, but I do think that in terms of that over a 5.5, you've already got 2 runs up on the board, but it all depends on who the Mets throw out there, because if they throw out there the long guys like Buto along with Brisbane, these 2 guys have actually been really good this season.
In terms of the futures market, as it relates to the league, not so much the division, because we can look at the division and the Yankees are minus 260 to win the AL East, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to rise up. As much as I love Boston, they're not playing well enough to rise up and challenge the Yankees in the East. For the Mets, maybe a different story, because I do like the Phillies a lot, and I think the Phillies are going to make some moves at the deadline. We can talk about the Phillies in a moment. But in terms of the league, Yankees are plus 280 favorites to win the American League. The Mets are the second favorite behind the Dodgers at plus 500 to win the National League. Which of these New York teams do you like more moving forward and like their chances more moving forward?
I would like the Yankees more, just simply because there's not as many good teams out there in the American League. Right now, your best team in the American League, I would say, is the Detroit Tigers. Mm-hmm. They've been able to put together a really nice start to the season. They've got their offense going, which they really didn't have last season. But when you take a look at the American League, who's really scaring you? The Boston Red Sox in their own division is not doing so. The Seattle Mariners right now lead the AL West. I'm still not completely bought in on them. The Minnesota Twins had that really nice win streak, but I'm still not bought in on the Minnesota Twins, because who knows when Byron Buxton's going to get hurt next. If the wind blows out the wrong way, he might be landing on the 10-day injury list. So I trust in the New York Yankees just simply because the balance of power in Major League Baseball right now, all the good teams are in the National League.
That's a fair point. You're right, and it might be a lot more. Plus, when it comes down to the playoffs, like, Are the Yankees worried about playing any team, like even if it's the Tigers or the Twins? Like the Yankees dominate the Central Division, so they're not worried about that. Maybe the Rangers, if they get hot and their pitching staff and Jacob deGrom looks incredible right now, maybe they could be a dangerous team in the American League. But you're right, it's Yankees or bust for the American League. And the Mets in the National League, it's sure, the Dodgers are there, but the Dodgers just got swept by the Angels. We saw Clayton Kershaw come back, did not look good in his first start. And for all this talk about the Dodgers being a super team, Greg, with all the money that they've spent, this bullpen's not good. And this pitching rotation is nothing to write home about. Like if I told you, where's the starting pitchers? It's Glasnow on the IL, Blake Snell on the IL, Sasaki on the IL. Ohtani hasn't pitched yet. This Dodgers super team is not looking like a super team right now.
I'm right there with you. Now, the one thing I will say about the Dodgers, we saw it last season when they picked up Jack Flaherty at the trade deadline. You know that they're going to make a move, but it really has been the hallmark of the Dodgers. You mentioned it with all the pitching injuries. I don't know what it is about Los Angeles because, obviously, league-wide, you see a lot of pitcher injuries, but it just feels like it happens more to the Dodgers than any other team. Look no further than Bobby Miller a few years ago. That guy had a tremendous rookie season, gets injured. He's been a shell of himself ever since then, and he's been off and on the injured list for a long time as well. So I'm right there with you with regards to Dodgers injuries, and I don't know what it is necessarily about them, but this pitching staff, it just feels like it gets injured more so than any other out there in baseball.
Talking to our very own Greg Peterson, joining me on the Progressive Guest Line. It's Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Catch Greg on a variety of shows that he hosts here on VSiN, as well as the Baseball Betting Podcast, brought to you by VSiN, wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you check out Greg's daily breakdowns up on VSiN.com. I want to make a division bet, Greg, and I want your thoughts on this. I want to bet the Phillies to win the National League East at plus 170 right now. I think this Phillies team, they've won 3 straight. They're coming off a nice sweep. They're a game behind the New York Mets right now, and we'll see what the Mets do here for the rest of this Sunday night baseball game. But I've been talking about this Phillies team for a while now because let's be honest. They're old. All of their players are in their 30s. Castellanos, Real Muto, Harper, Wheeler, their rotation, Onola. This is an old team. And I think and Schwarber, of course, I think they understand this, Greg. I think Dave Dombrowski understands this. And he's going to be aggressive at the trade deadline because if the Phillies don't win the World Series this year or contend for a World Series this year, I think this window in Philadelphia that we've seen open for the past couple of years, that it goes back to their run from a wild card team to the World Series, I think this is over. And we're not going to see this team look the same moving forward. So I want to place the bet on the Phillies now because I think they're only going to get better as the season moves along.
Here's a reason why I would wait a few weeks. If you look at the Mets schedule, towards the end of May, they've got 2 series where they should sweep. They've got the Colorado Rockies at home and the Chicago White Sox at home. If they don't go 6-0 in those games, something is went horribly wrong. Now, prior to that, they have to go up against the Boston Red Sox this week and the LA Dodgers. Now, they played the Dodgers at home, and as we mentioned, the Dodgers are looking a little bit cold. So I would actually be looking after that June 1st date where they wrap up that series against the Rockies, because then they go on the road against the Dodgers. Now, they get a series against the Rockies as well, but then the schedule gets a little bit tougher for the New York Mets. So I'm right there with you. I do think that the Phillies have a good shot to be able to win the division, but I think that after they knock off the White Sox and the Colorado Rockies in those 2 series wrap up May into early June, then you could probably get a little bit of a better price on the Phillies.
But do you think the Phillies, though, the Phillies are about to play 4 games in Colorado and then 4 games against the A's. The Phillies can turn this 3-game winning streak into a 10-game winning streak. And so maybe maybe the price is going to fluctuate here, but I think maybe this week the plus 170s are going to be gone on the Phillies. Now they could come back, as you mentioned, at the end of the month or towards June, but maybe, like I said, if Philly turns this 3-game winning streak into a 10-game winning streak, they're going to be the darlings of the National League that everyone's talking about.
Would have a little bit of trepidation with that A's team because I actually think that they're halfway okay. They've been able to put together an okay season. It's been a little bit up and down for them. And to your point about the Colorado Rockies, yeah, that's just absolutely awful to say the least. So I mean, man, a team that is winning fewer than 20% of their games, you know that it's not going so well for them. So they should sweep the Rockies. So essentially both teams do get a series against the Rockies. I do think that when it's all said and done, though, the Mets probably would be able to pick up 1 or 2 more wins prior to that June 1st, June 2nd date. So would be looking at the Phillies. Personally, I'd be waiting until like that June 2nd, June 3rd date.
Are we going to employ the Sunday night fade for the Mets tomorrow in Boston? It is Kodai Senga on the mound for the Mets and Hunter Dobbins for the Red Sox. But the fade, if you just take out that Dodgers game against the Marlins, which, of course, we weren't going to play the Marlins in that game, you're 5-0 playing the Sunday night fade, betting against the team that plays on Sunday night and has to travel the next day.
Right now, we're seeing that at about a plus 125 or so. I want to see what the openers are, but if I could get north of plus 125, I will be employing it myself. You've got a guy at Dobbins who's been pretty solid for the Boston Red Sox. Recognize that in his last start was a little bit rough, but I mean, on top of what you mentioned in terms of Sunday night fade, still have my trepidations with Kodai Senga because he's got a super low ERA, but he gives up a lot of walks. That leads to a little bit more bullpen pitching. And for the Boston Red Sox, they've been able to rise up a little bit more with their bullpen. It's been a little bit hit or miss at the plate for them, but I do think that with the New York Mets having that late travel coming off of Sunday Night Baseball, if I can get that money line underdog of the Boston Red Sox at north of plus 125, I'll be right there with you.
And Greg, not just the late night, but the high leverage situation of playing the Yankees here on Sunday Night Baseball and what could be come down to the bullpen high leverage moments late in this game. We saw Diaz get the final outs last night. Maybe if he has to be employed tonight, he's not available tomorrow. So I think I'm going to be looking at the Red Sox. Red Sox are pass for me coming up tomorrow. Great stuff, Greg. Appreciate the time and the insight. We'll be listening to the podcast and reading your work on vsin.com.
Always appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
Don't forget, guys, you can go all in this summer here at Circa Las Vegas with the ultimate getaway package, just $400 all in. Listen to this deal. 2-night stay at Circa, $100 beverage credit, $100 dining credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim. Book now at circalasvegas.com. This is Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday. I'm Scott Seidenberg with you here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, as we are going to the top of the fourth inning in the Bronx. The Yankees still holding on to that 2-1 lead over the Mets. So, we're the first 5 under, that cute little parlay that we did. We're still sitting here looking okay right now. Full game over. I'm not sweating it because this is kind of what my thought was when we played this anti-correlated same-game parlay. We got cute. We wanted the starting pitchers, especially Max Fried. We wanted Max Fried to dominate and for it to be, 4 runs, that's it, in the first 5 innings, and then get the rest after the 5th inning. And right now, Fried is dominating. He allowed that run in the 2nd inning, and besides that, it's nothing. 3 1/3 innings right now, just 2 hits allowed, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk for Max Fried on 59 pitches. Meanwhile, David Peterson has locked it down since that first inning. 3 innings pitched on 57 pitches, 3 hits, the 2 runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So he's settled in nicely after that first inning in which he allowed 2 runs. So 2-1, Yankees lead the Mets here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. Your live total is at 8.5, and it is minus 135 to the over. So no play for me on that. We're already on the over 9 and the over 9.5, so not going to jump in on an 8.5. But like I was talking about with Greg Peterson earlier, and great stuff from Greg. Again, check out his work at vsin.com. I might be intrigued by a Yankees team total to go over. And now with another inning out of the way, the Yankees team total is at 4.5. They already have 2 runs, and it's at 4.5. It's minus 142. And if they maintain this lead, you are not guaranteed the 9th inning. I understand that. But you got the bottom of the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's 5 innings to get 3 runs because they already have 2. 5 innings to get 3 runs. I would make that play. I'm already on the over for the game. This could, at some point, get tied up, and maybe you get extra innings. Who knows? But if I'm only asking the Yankees, this Yankee offense, to score 3 runs in the next 5 innings, I think that's a bet I want to make. Now, if the Mets tie it up here, I think I might like this bet even more. But it's 2-1 Yankees. They lead the Mets. 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. And the Mets did get a double just now. So there is a runner on second. I believe that was Francisco Alvarez. Nope, Starling Marte doubled. Alvarez is up now. If Alvarez drives in Marte here, I would like that bet even more. Because at 2-2, now we have the potential of extra innings. And with the Yankees being tied, they got to, like you have the potential of now having that 9th inning. So if the Mets tie the game and the team total stays at 4.5, oh, we're definitely playing that. If Fried gets out of this, I'm still going to play it. I'm just curious to see what happens here if the Mets do tie it, because I'm going to like this bet even more. Because, like I said, the thing with betting a home team, when it comes to these team totals or it comes to a run line on the home teams, you're not guaranteed the 9th inning at bat if they're winning. And right now, the Yankees are winning 2-1. But at 2-2, now, yeah, they could take the lead the next inning, but that's fine. Like, we want them to score runs. But at 2-2, well, now all of a sudden, the 9th inning at bat comes into play. So instead of having 5 more innings to score runs, we've got 6 more innings to score runs. It makes me feel a lot better about a team total over. But either way, I like it. And I'm probably going to bet it as soon as this inning ends. Yankees' adjusted team total is at 4.5, minus 142. And that is up on DraftKings right now. It is 2-1. So they have 2 runs. We just need 3 more from the Yankees. For the Mets, if you're curious, their team total is at 3.5. And it is juiced to the under at minus 148. Juiced to the under as Max Fried strikes out Alvarez and gets out of the jam. So we head to the bottom of the 4th inning as the Yankees still lead the Mets 2-1. And I'm going to hope for 3 more runs. I'm going to go ahead and bet the over 4.5 at minus 142. Yankees team total. So let's get 3 more runs from the Yankees. And if it's off of Peterson, great. If it's off of the bullpen, okay. But over 4.5 runs for the Yankees will be the first live bet that we're placing here on this baseball game. It's 2-1 Yankees over the Mets going to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is Jason Dominguez, DJ LeMahieu, Austin Wells due up for the Yankees, and then it'll be Peraza and then the top of the lineup getting up for a 3rd time. I don't know if Peterson faces the lineup for a 3rd time. So this could be the last inning for Peterson, or, they send him out there for the 5th, and he faces... the thing is, they're not going to let him face Judge a 3rd time. Or, now this is interesting. I might be talking myself into a bet here. Hear me out. On these live betting shows, we've talked about this before. And I know that Will Hill, when I've co-hosted with Will Hill, who did the live bet Sunday earlier, here with Grace Remington on Sunday, Will and I have talked about these next at-bat props a lot. And if you look at the next at-bat props, sometimes you can make a nice chunk of change by looking at what the batter is going to do in their next at-bat. And I'm going to look at Aaron Judge here. And he's not going to get up this next inning, okay? He's not going to get up this next inning unless the Yankees, bat around. He's probably going to get up in the 5th inning, in the bottom of the 5th inning. And here's my thought process here. If David Peterson gets through this bottom of the 4th inning, Jason Dominguez, DJ LeMahieu, Austin Wells, and then if it's clean, that's great, because then he's not guaranteed to face Judge, because for him, it's just Peraza, Goldschmidt, and Grisham in the bottom of the 5th. But think about this. If one guy gets on this inning, or maybe one guy gets on in the 5th inning, you got Grisham, who's a lefty, who's 0 for 2 in this game. Then you have Aaron Judge, who's Aaron Bleepin' Judge, and then a lefty in Cody Bellinger, who has the 2 RBI double off of David Peterson, and then walked his next at bat against David Peterson. I would like to bet if Peterson is still in the game, in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the lineup is going to look accordingly, and we're guaranteed that Judge at bat, I want to bet Judge to walk. Judge is 1 for 2. He's got that, ground rule double to right field. He scored a run. And then his next at bat, I believe he got out his next at bat. It was ground out to third. I can see a scenario play out here where it is the 5th inning. David Peterson's already at 70 to 80 pitches. It's his last inning of work. He faces Grisham, the lefty-on-lefty matchup. He walks Aaron Judge, whether it's intentional or it's just pitching around him. But he walks Aaron Judge, and then his final batter would be the lefty-lefty matchup against Cody Bellinger. And then you can bring in a reliever to face, Volpe, Dominguez, LeMahieu, and so on and so forth. But that stretch right there of lefty Grisham, Judge, righty, and then lefty Bellinger, can't you see a scenario, if the game is still tight, which it is right now, 2-1, that he pitches to Grisham, he pitches around Aaron Judge, doesn't want to get in trouble with Aaron Judge, and then pitches lefty-lefty matchup to Cody Bellinger. I mean, I see it so clearly. It's kind of obvious. I think that happens. So I'm going to be looking, and it's not up now because, as I mentioned, he's not up in his next, he's not due up for a while. But once it becomes available, I'm going to look at walk/hit by pitch to be the next at-bat prop for Aaron Judge, and we'll see what it is. I can tell you right now, just looking at some guys here, Austin Wells is at, where is he? Plus 800 for Austin Wells in his next plate appearance, walk/hit by pitch. You got other guys, Francisco Lindor's plus 900, Jeff McNeil's plus 1,100. I mean, if we can get Judge at a good price here, at plus 6, plus 700, that's a bet I want to make on the next plate appearance for him to walk. But let's see what happens here in this 4th inning and where we are once we get to that bottom of the 5th. Smarter bets start here and last all year with VSiN Pro. Right now, sign up with an annual subscription and get 14 months for just $1.99 when you use promo code PRO. That's 2 extra months free for less than 50 cents a day. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Get instant access to a daily email with the best bets from hosts and guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app, plus full access to vsin.com's analytics, betting trends, and expert breakdowns. Don't wait. Go to vsin.com/subscribe. Use promo code PRO to lock in this offer. That's vsin.com/subscribe. We'll get to the second period bets coming up next. It's Live Bet Sunday with me, Scott Seidenberg, here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on Live Bet Sunday, I'm Scott Seidenberg here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You can always hit me up on Twitter at ScottsOnAir, SCOTTSONAIR. Hit us all up on the network at VSiN Live as the second period. We are waiting for the puck to drop here between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. A scoreless game, so we cashed the under 1.5 in the first period. And analyzing the stats in that first period, it is a very interesting story, kind of like what we've seen in this series, where the Panthers have actually dominated the pace of play, but the Maple Leafs have had more scoring chances. So if we look at all the shot attempts, it's been 36 for the Panthers to just 17 for the Maple Leafs. Of those attempts, we've obviously had several blocks. So 21 have gone to the net for the Panthers, 13 for the Maple Leafs. So that's a good percentage. 13 of the 17 has been good for the Maple Leafs, 21 of 36 for the Florida Panthers. Of those that have gotten through to the net, 9 shots on goal for the Panthers, 7 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And your high danger scoring chances, 7 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 3 for the Florida Panthers. Expected goal numbers in that first period, 1.4 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 0.84 for the Florida Panthers. So right now, if we're just looking inside the numbers and based off those high danger scoring chances, Toronto should be leading right now. Not by much, but as I mentioned, look at those expected numbers. They should have scored at least a goal, and Florida should have scored a goal as well. But we are scoreless right now at the end of the first period. Here's your live numbers right now. Live total is at 3.5. It is minus 135 to the under. Your live line, Florida minus 140. So a little bit reduced on what we saw prior to the game and reduced what we saw in-game in the first period when they were upwards of 154 or so. And so here's where we're at right now, minus 140. Maple Leafs are plus 110 on the other side, and your total is at 3.5. Second period numbers, if you're interested in second period totals here, the over 1.5 in the second period is minus 120. The under 1.5 is same thing. It's juiced as well, minus 120. The draw is plus 165. So I kind of like that. You know, we've seen these game sevens, and it's interesting because throughout the entirety of this playoffs, it wasn't until the Golden Knights game against the Oilers in game 6 that we saw no goals scored through the first 2 periods of a game. And then, just a couple days later, in this very series, in the 2-0 win for Toronto in Florida, it was a 0-0 game through 2 periods. Last night was 0-0 after the first period. It wasn't a game 7, but it was a pivotal game, an elimination game. And then both teams scored in the second period and made it 1-1, and it was a draw going to the third period. And so let's just take a look now at the elimination games. Yesterday, draw after 2 in the second period. Friday, draw in the second period. Hurricanes Capitals, Thursday, 0-0 draw in the second period. Jets with the 1-0 lead on Thursday over the Stars, so that was not a draw. But Wednesday, the Golden Knights and the Oilers draw. Leafs Panthers was not, as Florida was a 3-0 win over them. And then Jets Stars going back to Tuesday was a 1-1 draw in the second period. So starting, let's just go back Tuesday. That's what, 1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2. We're 5-2 in the last 7 games of a draw in the second period. Plus 165. And you can get at that in multiple ways. It could be 0-0 still. Or both teams could score. It could be 1-1. I like it. Plus 165. Let's take a chance. How about a draw? Second period draw. Plus 165. We love plus money bets, especially ones we could see happening. This game has been very evenly played. These teams are not taking a lot of risks. Yes, Toronto has had more high-danger scoring chances, but Florida has had the better of the possessions. There's been, one power play opportunity, and that was for the Florida Panthers. So if we're looking and saying, well, maybe that's how you can explain the domination of the attempts. If we just look at even strength opportunities in this game, let's see. The numbers come back down a little bit because there were 5 attempts on that power play for the Panthers. So your numbers are 31-17. Your shots are 7-6. The high danger scoring chances are still the same, 7-3 in favor of Toronto. And your expected goal numbers, in fact, actually get worse for Florida. They go from 0.84 to 0.67. So I like it. Let's go it. All right, live bet. We're going to do a draw here in the second period. Plus 165, second period draw. That is our live bet. The puck will drop for the second period momentarily there in Toronto. Scoreless between the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. Looking inside the box score, Sasha Barkov's got 1 shot for the Panthers on goal. Anton Lundell's got 1 shot on goal. Carter Verhaeghe's got 2, so he's about to go over his prop. Aaron Ekblad with 2, Seth Jones with 2. For the Maple Leafs, they have 1 from Austin Matthews, so he still has a little bit of ways to go over his shots on goal prop. Bobby McMahon's at 2, Nylander's at 1, so he's on his way. Pacioretty is at 1, he's on his way as well. No shots on goal for John Tavares. And on defense, Brandon Carlo's got 1 shot on goal. The Tanev blocked shots prop, which our guest Ian Cameron gave out earlier, he had 1 blocked shot in that first period. So his was over 2.5 blocked shots, and he had 1 in the first period. Hey, just have 1 in the second and 1 in the third, too. Keep averaging 1 a period. You're going to go over your 2.5. Puck is dropped, and we are underway. Second period action in Toronto, and we have placed the bet on the draw in the second period, and we'll see if you're riding with us here. Meanwhile, the New York Mets have tied the game against the Yankees 2-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning Was that a passed ball? I wonder, I wasn't really watching here. I think that was a wild pitch. So Juan Soto's up, and I think, let's look at the replay, as Max Fried throws Austin Wells. Yeah, that's a wild pitch. Bounced away from Austin Wells, and Jeff McNeil scores as the Mets have tied it 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Now, I feel great about our bets, okay? I feel fantastic because this is great. We don't want any runs here in the bottom of the fifth inning. No runs here in the bottom of the fifth inning, and we will cash that first part of the plus 600 same game parlay. We will cash it as we'll hit the under in the first 5 innings. And now, with 4 runs, we only need 6 runs to hit our over for the game. 5 runs to get the push for the over in the game. So our plus 600 would actually get reduced, but we're looking okay here. At our unconventional same game anti-correlated parlay of first 5 under, full game over, as we were backing the starting pitchers and we wanted to fade the bullpens here. We have a 2-2 game going to the bottom of the fifth. I love where we're at right now. And it's at the live total is at 8.5 minus 130 to the over. So it's not like we are far off the pace to get the over 9. It's literally 8.5 at minus 130. We took the over 9 at even money. So like we're okay here. Scary situation on the ice. I think a ref got hit in the face with a puck or a stick, but the ref was down on the ice and bleeding, and they're taking him obviously to the dressing room to get some work done. They'll probably have they always have a backup official that'll probably get onto the ice here and join the crew. So we wish the ref the best there. It's amazing you don't see that more often in a sport where the refs are like in the middle of the play. I always tell people that are not traditional hockey fans, that don't watch the game a lot, I say, if you want to have like a fun experience, like especially if you go to a game live, watch the refs. Like spend like 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, spend a couple of minutes, and don't focus on what's going on in the game. Don't focus on the players. Don't focus on the puck. Pick out one ref and just watch him over the course of a hockey game or a course of a couple minutes of a hockey game. You will be amazed, and you'll be thinking to yourself, this makes no sense. How does this guy, how are they in the middle of everything? They have to jump out of the way when the puck comes their way. They're up against the boards and players are smashing into each other, going around them. They're the best skaters on the ice, having to go around these players all the time. It's just crazy. Just like, you'll have a new appreciation, and it like won't make sense to you. Like no other sport's like this. Like it's just, I mean, I guess the back judge in football can sometimes be like around the linebackers and in the middle of the play and whatnot, but like, and we see those refs get run into a lot or used as screens, but like in the NBA, they're not like you don't see a ref in the middle of the key. They're in the course of an NBA game. They're out of the way. In baseball, they're out of the way. I mean, the field, there's one second base field umpire that's like in the field, but the other guys are on the lines. It's pretty bizarre watching these hockey officials, and you wonder, why don't they get hurt more often? Not like you want to see that, but it's just amazing. A reminder, you can take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to all the action with the VSiN Watch app, available on your phone, phone, tablet, and smart TV. Download the VSiN Watch app today. You can become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Take VSiN with you. Listen, watch live anywhere, anytime. I'm Scott Seidenberg. It's Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Scott Seidenberg back here with you. It's Live Bet Sunday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, and we got a live bet that we are going to place here. We have bottom of the fifth inning, 1 out. Yankees and Mets are tied at 2. Trent Grisham is up. Paul Goldschmidt is on first base. We are betting Aaron Judge next plate appearance to be a walk/hit by pitch at plus 600. I placed it on Caesars. At DraftKings, it might have been a little bit higher, but obviously we couldn't get down on DraftKings here. And the best case scenario just happened for us. As Trent Grisham struck out, but it was a passed ball, right? Or he might have was that a swinging bunt? No, I think he struck out. But anyway, Paul Goldschmidt got to second, which means There is an open base. First base is open with 2 outs, bottom of the 5th, and Aaron Judge is coming up. A lefty is on deck. Cody Belch, they intentionally walked Aaron Judge. Now we have to worry about the house rules. Do the house rules pay out the intentional walk? Because if not, if they pay out the intentional walk as the walk / hit by pitch, we just cashed the plus $600 bet. Because this is the exact scenario we were looking at. Open base on first, lefty-lefty matchup with Paul Goldschmidt here, bottom of the 5th inning. We have to look at the house rules to see if because intentional walk's not an option. The exact options were single, double, triple, home run, reach on error, or walk / hit by pitch. We bet the walk / hit for pitch. Let's see. I'm opening up my Caesars app right now. And let's see. This is the exact scenario we want it to happen. I can't believe that it cashed. Live Bet Sunday. If you played it with us, I mean, I talked about it last segment or 2 segments ago when it was the 4th inning. And I said, this is the scenario that I want to play in the 5th inning. I'm sorry that literally we just came back from commercial break when Aaron Judge was getting up, so we might not have had time to do it. But if you were following along in the last segment or 2 segments ago, and we talked about it, and I said this is the scenario in the bottom of the 5th. It's the last inning here for David Peterson because he's going to be around 90 pitches. He wasn't going to face Judge here again. And with Goldie, with Goldie here, the lefty-lefty matchup, the guy who had the RBI double against him in a tight game here in a 2-2, they were going to walk Aaron Judge. And they did. We cashed. Congratulations. Now, I'm in a little bit of a sweat here. A little bit of conundrum, if you will. We have the over 9.5. Obviously, runs here would be great for our over. I don't want to get greedy and really try and win our same game parlay sprinkle, which was the under in the first 5 innings and the over for the full game. Because it's 2-2 with 2 outs right now in the bottom of the 5th. And Cody Bellinger just walked. So Anthony Volpe's coming up to the plate right now. If Volpe gets out, we cashed the first part of our same game parlay with the under 4.5. And now we just need the over 9 to come in. We need 10 runs in this game. But also, our main bet was the over. So if Volpe gets a double here or a single and scores some runs, I feel like we got to be happy with that. Volpe hits it right to Lindor, who throws to first. All right. Hey, we cashed the first part of the same game parlay. Volpe grounds out to Lindor. 2-2, end of the 5th. First leg of the same game parlay has cashed. Now we just look for the full game to go over. And obviously, David Peterson will be out of this game. He's at 89 pitches. I do not think he comes back out for the 6th. Max Fried is at 87 pitches. I think he comes out here for the 6th. I didn't see anything on TV about somebody warming up in the bullpen or not coming into the game. But, let's see. Let's see what happens here in the 6th inning, as your live total right now is at 8.5, and it is even money towards the over. I still think we get runs in this game. The fact that it's 2-2 is great, because if it stays tied, we're going to get ghost runners, right? And we're so close. It's not like this is a 4-0 game where we'd be worried and saying, well, one team's not going to score. We don't have a chance to hit an over here. But a 2-2 game could very easily just be a 3-3 game. And then going into extra innings. But more importantly, we got the Yankees guaranteed now. Well, not guaranteed, but still alive for that 9th inning at bat. By the way, Keith tweeted at me that DK voided the bet. Sorry, Keith. Yeah, house rules are different at every book. Some books void the intentional walk. Other books do not. As I mentioned, we placed the bet on Caesars here in Vegas. Caesars, the only options were the exact results. Walk / hit by pitch, and the intentional walk does cash there for the walk / hit by pitch prop. So plus 600 on Aaron Judge, and it cashed. You know, it would have cashed too if I played that McNeil prop. That I kind of joked about playing because McNeil had good numbers against Max Fried, and he had already drove in the only runs of the game for the Mets were on that Jeff McNeil single earlier in the game. And so I thought maybe, hey, McNeil's going to walk his next at bat, but then I said, nah, Max Fried doesn't walk anybody. And what happened? McNeil walked and then wound up scoring on the wild pitch there. So through 5 innings of work, Max Fried, 3 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And for David Peterson through 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And on the ice, the Florida Panthers have opened up the scoring and have 2 goals now for the Florida Panthers here in the second period. So cash the second period over as Florida scored their first goal 3 minutes in, Seth Jones scoring, making it 1-0, and they have just scored their second goal of, you got to have that puck. That is on the goaltender. That is on Joseph Woll right there. There was a shot on goal that Woll, prior to there's multiple plays here that happens. Let me explain. This was a rebound that was scored by, who scored that? I got to see who scored. A shot on goal, saved by Woll, and then knocked in the net for the second goal of the game by Anton Lundell. So it is 2-0 Panthers here in the second period. But prior to the initial shot that was saved by Woll and then knocked in by Lundell for the 2-0 lead, prior to that shot, there was a shot on goal that Joseph Woll made the save and did not cover up the rebound. The puck dropped in front of him. He reached out to try and get it, but it was knocked away from him. And that allowed Florida to maintain the possession in the zone, which then led to the shot on goal that was the rebound knocked in by Lundell there. So sometimes, like when you're watching film and you're looking back on these games and you're saying, oh, well, man, that's, that you're looking at whether he should have made that save or should have made that save. I bet you the goaltending coach and just, coaches in general here, in Craig Berube, is going to look at this and say, listen, if you cover up that puck there, it's a 1-0 game still. Like sometimes, like you make a save, you got to cover up that puck and just get a whistle. Instead, Florida maintained possession in the zone, and a 1-0 game has become a 2-0 game now. And your live market right now for this game is your total is at 4.5, minus 166 to the over, and the Panthers overwhelming favorites. If you think Toronto has it in them to come back, you can get them at plus 650. The puck line right now, Florida minus 2.5 is minus 125. And at some point, we're going to need a goal here from Toronto because we did play that plus 2.5 under. So if you're just tuning in, you don't know what I'm talking about. Our guest, Ian Cameron, who joined us earlier on the program, recommended this bet. I know Jonathan Davis up on vsin.com was on this bet as well. I played it. It was a plus 2.5 for both teams, same game parlay. So plus 2.5 for the Maple Leafs, plus 2.5 for the Panthers, and the third leg of the parlay was an alternate under of 6.5. So the under for the game was at 5.5, but you did the alternate under at 6.5. So it was the plus 2.5, under 6.5 on that same game parlay. I got it at minus 110 at MGM and sweating that out right now as Florida has scored again. 3-0 Panthers as the wheels are coming off here in the second period. Hey, the NBA playoffs are heating up, and our partner at ProfitX is offering the best odds all playoffs long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states. You're going to be able to make your picks against other groups of fans rather than against sportsbooks, and exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download ProfitX today with code VSIN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Speaking of the NBA playoffs, we're going to talk Eastern Conference Finals. Ty Butler from ESPN New York will join us coming up next. Get his thoughts on Mets and Yankees as well. It's Live Bet Sunday here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.